This might come as a shock to you, or maybe you already know, but Ann Arbor has been ranked the #1 best place to live in the entire state of Michigan, and even considered one of the best places to live in the entire United States. In this video, I'm covering exactly why Ann Arbor is the #1 best place to live, why tourists love it, and why so many locals absolutely love living here in Ann Arbor. So stick around to the end so you can decide for yourself if Ann Arbor is the perfect place for you. And if we're meeting here for the first time, my name is Eric Meldrum. I'm a local real estate agent here in Ann Arbor and Metro Detroit. You know, my partner Juan and I make videos just like this about all things Ann Arbor, Metro Detroit, and what it's like to live here. We help people just like you relocate here every single day, and we absolutely love it. So if you are considering relocating, go ahead and get a hold of us. My Calendly link is down below. You can schedule a time that's convenient for you, and I'd be happy to guide you along the way. All right, who's getting excited for this tour of Ann Arbor? I know I am. But before we dive into it, I was looking at the list, and one thing jumped out to me, and I didn't do this on purpose, but when I come up with these lists, I try to give a wide range of experiences, locations, really capture the essence of what makes Ann Arbor unique, what makes Ann Arbor, Ann Arbor. The thing that I noticed was each of these standalone, on their own, they all have different vibes. You can be really into arts, you can be really into nature, you can be really into sports, and there's a little bit of something for everybody here in Ann Arbor. And this is just skimming the surface. I actually had to take a few of the museums out that were on the list. I had to take a few of the locations out that were on the list. Producing the video was a challenge, picking the actual ones that I wanted to cover. But enough of that, let's dive in. The first place we're going to visit today is the Kerrytown district, which is downtown Ann Arbor. Now, imagine yourself walking downtown, eating, drinking, shopping on a beautiful sunny day, and you walk over to the Kerrytown district. Now, one of the first things you're going to notice when you walk into Kerrytown is this warm, inviting history. And that's because of the red brick buildings that they have, the red brick streets that are paved. It's a place where a lot of artists like to hang out as well. They have iconic paintings of this V in the road where, the Kerrytown Market and shops are, and Zingerman's on Detroit Street is. And it's just one of those places that artists find something to paint all the time because the buildings down there are absolutely beautiful. Kerrytown's also home to the farmers market on the weekends. So on Saturdays, you do have the farmers market there, and on Sundays, you have the artisan market, which makes it a great place for people to go. And in addition to the farmers market, you got the Kerrytown Market and Shops, which is home to a lot of different artisan, handmade crafts, handmade things. You got clothing stores in there, you got boutique stores. There's just a wide range of really everything, and it's all local, right? All local people who own those shops. No chain restaurants or chain things, down in Ann Arbor. It's all locally made. And if you love food, just like I do, Kerrytown will not disappoint. In addition to Zingerman's, they got the great sandwiches, great pastries. You can head over, get Korean food at Miss Kim's. There's Detroit Filling Station, which is all American food. And then you also have Pizza Pazza, which is inside Sparrows Market, just kind of next door to it. And then there's the raw seafood bar in there as well, which is absolutely amazing. One of my favorite things to do when I was working downtown was actually walk from my office on Liberty Street over to Kerrytown. Not only was it a good walk and exercise, but one of my favorites was just going into the Sparrows Market there and picking up one of their pre-made sandwiches, grabbing a salad, or just getting fresh fruit that's available there. And the next stop on our tour today is the University of Michigan itself. Now, there's only so much I can go into in this video because the university spans like this big with its impact on Ann Arbor. But the things I wanted to cover, for this tour is just making it known that the University of Michigan's campus, which is a top 10, Big 10 school, is right connected to the downtown area of Ann Arbor. Now, there's not too many other cities that are like that I know of. So if you do know of some really cool downtown areas like Ann Arbor that has a university, put those in the comments below. I'd love to know about them because I still haven't found any. Not that I'm like a big college campus connoisseur, but I'd love to know about them. The campus itself is just absolutely breathtaking. I went to Western Michigan University, really proud of where I came from, go Broncos, but going and walking through the University of Michigan's campus and seeing that campus compared to where I went to school, that is like night and day, because I look at University of Michigan's campus as like a huge step up from Western's campus. The walkability, from campus to restaurants to coffee shops to bookstores, and then also having just kind of that youth. Some people may look at that as a negative, like,
oh my gosh, there's so many college kids and so many, adolescents running around.
it's really not the case. There's this blend of college campus and then like business professional, and I would say majority of it is more business professional. And next up on our tour is the Ann Arbor Farmers Market. Now, Ann Arbor has one of the largest farmers markets. There's 130 vendors on average that are showing up every single week to showcase their produce, their baked goods, whatever it is that they're selling at the farmers market. And they show up in a big way, right? It is absolutely amazing to see this thing put together. It is downtown in Kerrytown. It's probably one of the most well-run farmers market that I've ever seen. You know, the stands are beautiful, the displays are beautiful. They have everything you could imagine there, right? If you're hungry, you could be walking through the farmers market and just grab pre-made food. You could grab hot food that they're making for you. I'm not kidding. It's not just fruits and vegetables, but this is a long-standing tradition. You know, it's been going on for over 100 years, and it's year-round. Okay, I don't know any other farmers markets. Well, actually the one in Flint because it's indoors, but that's not comparing to Ann Arbor. Ann Arbor is year-round, and it is one of the best farmers market here in Southeast Michigan. And the reason it's one of the best is because of the vendors. Now, these are local business owners, local farmers, and they got a lot of organic options. And that's one of the things I love about it. You know, just as of a few years ago, I really started paying attention to labels, paying attention to what I was eating. If you go back and watch some of my other videos, you'll see my face was like, you know, just totally inflamed. You know, it made a huge difference in my health and the way I feel, you know, on a daily basis. So having those type of produce, you know, here locally, we get them in Ann Arbor, Brighton, Milford, Dexter, Saline, and Chelsea too. Like all these farmer markets are a lot of the same vendors, you know, week in and week out, and people here locally appreciate it. Next up on our tour today is the Nichols Arboretum, which is one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. You got to remember, Ann Arbor is all about the parks. You know, there's over 130 parks in Ann Arbor dedicated to just green space, and Nichols Arboretum is one of them. But this is one of those parks that will not do it justice if I talk about it right here, just like face the camera. So instead, let's actually go there, and I want to show you. All right, so we're here at Nichols Arboretum, and like I said, I wanted to show you in person. In full transparency, it was absolutely beautiful when we got here. You can see from the other footage. Now it's raining, so that's just Michigan for you. You never know what weather you're gonna get. But this was an absolutely amazing park. You know, Nichols Arboretum, people come here all the time. It is directly connected to the hospital. So there's a Mott Children's Center right there. It's literally right across the parking lot. When you're in the hospital all day, or you know, you're there for an extended period of time and you just want to get away and just clear your mind, this is where people come. In addition to this, there's miles of trails. I don't know how long, walking through the Huron River. There's always butterflies, hummingbirds, lots of wildlife, you know, here as well. But in terms of just bringing the kids out, you know, this gravel / dirt trail, great for strollers. I wouldn't recommend bringing a wagon. That's gonna get stuck on the rocks. And you know, if you do want to bring food out here, there are picnic tables, so you can go have lunch. There's always spots to sit down, whether you're walking and running. There's park benches. Then there's multiple gardens throughout the park as well. So that is Nichols Arboretum. We just still happen to see it on a rainy day. And next up on our tour is Argo Park and Nature Center. Now, if you're looking for an adventure, this is it. You know, this is a Saturday or Sunday in the summer. You can go down to Argo, rent some kayaks, rent a canoe, or just rent some rafts or some tubes and take your cooler out, some adult beverages with some friends, and just drift down the Huron River. And when I tell you this is a good time, I'm not lying. Like, this is what Michigan's all about. Getting out in nature, getting into rivers, soaking in the sun. This is what we Michiganders live for. And if you hear anybody from the Sunbelt states, you know, like, well, it's only sunny 3 or 4 months out of the year. It's like, yeah, but there's so much other stuff to do. Like, Michigan is an adventure state. You know, we love our winters. We love everything about it. But the summer, this is like the championship, the Super Bowl, the Stanley Cup, right, of our state here. So Argo Park, one of my favorite places. You know, you can just go down there. They have some picnic tables. It's 22 acres of park and nature center. I'd highly suggest, you know, taking a cruise down the Huron River because the sights absolutely beautiful. It takes you through Ann Arbor and the surrounding areas, but it's really kind of the nature, peacefulness of it, knowing that you're in a big city, but you're just surrounded by nature, which is kind of serene and surreal at the same time. So the Argo Park and Nature Center is definitely a place you need to add to your list. And the next stop on our tour is the Ann Arbor Hands-On Museum. So if you do have little ones and they just love museums, or they love kind of like the STEM programs, science, technology, engineering, math. And my daughter came home from school the other day and was like, Dad, it's not STEM anymore. It's called STEAM. So they added some letter to it. I don't know what it is. If you know what that is, please drop it in the comments below. Help a dad out that's trying to keep up with all the changes that are happening. But the Ann Arbor Hands-On Museum is definitely one of my favorite things to do. You know, we've taken the girls there so many times. They've gone there for field trips at school as well, which is always a great time. Like if your kids are in the Ann Arbor schools or surrounding schools, that is definitely a field trip that's usually added around like 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade. You know, they keep going up, and they have a lot of things to do in the museum itself. They do have some water tables in there, kind of the splash zone, so be careful. Bring your extra change of clothes if you're going to let the kids run wild in there, because it does get a little bit messy. But there's just a lot of tornado vortex things that they can mess around with. And then there's so many other building blocks, trinkets, I mean, you name it. All right, there's things to just get the gears turning in the kids' heads. And I found myself occupied for hours just trying to like tinker with stuff, figure stuff out. There's puzzles. So it was really fun. You know, I really enjoy it, and I would definitely recommend it. So it is right in Kerrytown, lots of restaurants around. So if you are looking for a morning trip or an afternoon trip, some food options around there as well, I would highly recommend it. And the last stop on our tour today is one of the most iconic and most recognizable landmarks here in Ann Arbor, and that is the Big House. Or if you want the technical name, it's actually Michigan Stadium, but we call it the Big House, and we call it the Big House for a reason. It holds a lot of people, and it is absolutely massive. It's the largest stadium I've ever stepped foot in, holding over 107,000 people. And you can imagine on game day, sitting in a sea of 107,000 people when that place is packed to the brim, your team is absolutely crushing the Buckeyes and just shoving it down their throat. Like, that experience in itself, no words. Like, I don't even have words. Like, every time I go there, I'm just speechless. You know, it's fun, exhilarating. Your adrenaline's pumping when you're in the stadium because you just can't help it. Like, everybody around you is on level 11, right? Level 10's here. We are at level 11 in that stadium. So the Big House, you know, in addition to being home to the University of Michigan football team, it's also where they hold the graduation ceremony every single year. They hold concert venues there. So they just do a lot of things with it. And it is one of the most iconic places here in Ann Arbor. If you look at any aerial footage or any like skyline views, because Ann Arbor doesn't really have much of a skyline, every picture you can Google will have the Big House in it, which I find kind of funny because we always look for like iconic things to put in our thumbnails, and the Big House is like that staple, right? If you put the Big House up there with the big M on the scoreboard, like, that is Ann Arbor, right? From a skyline perspective, it is just that big and that recognizable. All right, so there you guys have it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this tour of Ann Arbor. You know, hopefully it answers some questions. And like I said from the beginning of the video, you know, there's tons of stuff to do in Ann Arbor. I can only cover so much on this video. So if you do have questions or you have something to add, you know, to this video, drop those in the comments below. You know, we'd love to keep the conversation going. You know, we make these videos to help answer some common questions or just give you guys an idea of what it's like to live here and really get a feel for, you know, the locals kind of perspective in and around Ann Arbor. So whether you like being outdoors, you know, you get the parks, the recreations, or if you want to be inside, tons of museums, tons of concert venues, or if you like sports, you know, you got the University of Michigan sports teams, you got football, soccer, hockey, you know, and everything in between. So I hope this video has provided some helpful insights into life here in Ann Arbor. So if you do have questions, remember, drop those in the comments below. And again, we're helping people just like you relocate here every single day. So if you are considering relocating, definitely reach out to us. We'd absolutely love to help you. All my contact information is down below. And until next time, we'll catch you on the next one. And we got these other videos all about Ann Arbor and Metro Detroit right here for you to check out. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.